Hey guys, 5-9 Gaming back here with a dokkan battle video, and today we're going to be jumping into a very highly requested video. I am joined by Sunblade here, and we're going to be breaking down what we believe to be the top 10 best LR characters in dokkan battle. Now, there's just two things you guys need to keep in mind as we go through the list here. Number one, these characters are going to be ranked as 100% in the potential system, and they're going to be no EZAs allowed on the list. So no LR Goku Black and Zamasu, no LR STR Broly, stuff like that. And then number two is we've each made our own individual lists. I've made my list, Sunblade has made his list, and we're gonna go through the top 10 in our order so we can compare and contrast like how we have the numbering set up here. So before we jump in, Sunblade, is there anything you want to say here?
Oh no, I'm excited. I've seen your list already, and I'm very eager to discuss the placements with you. So, yep, let's do this.
All right, so we're going to jump into number 10. My pick for number 10 is going to be LR, Goku, and Piccolo. So LR, Goku, and Piccolo, they're pretty brand new on Global, and they've been out on JP for, like 3 months or something like that? Pretty substantially new, I would say. So the thing with this unit is they are very, very strong for the first, I believe it's 5 turns since their first appearance, because they have guard, right? That's the most important thing to remember about this unit. They are going to be building up their attack infinitely, and then they have a monstrously strong active skill that allows them to exchange into Piccolo, but then you do the special beam cannon. But the reason why that's so good is because it uses all of your built up attack as like a pure buff to the damage you're doing. And because you can additional super guaranteed with this character, assuming they get hit first, you can potentially get like 8+ super attacks in, but they're raising their attack until you get that active skill in. And I feel like they're just like, that active skill probably is like the hardest hitting active skill in the game. If you crit with it, like it's just absurd. It's ridiculous. As long as you hit 24 key with them, they're also hitting very, very hard. Like I've easily had them hit over 10 million before, prior to their exchange into Piccolo. And as Piccolo as well, they're also hitting ridiculously hard. But the one flaw that I have with them, and the one reason why they're not higher on my list, is because once you exchange into Piccolo, they lose a substantial amount of defense. And if you're going into something like Red Zone, the later stages of the Red Zone, like, Bojack, the Omega Shenron, Broly, Janemba, those kinds of stages, you typically do see, turns like 7, 8, 9 on a pretty regular occasion, right? And so if you get to that phase and Goku and Piccolo before their exchange are no longer guarding, and you go ahead and exchange, like you're gonna get incinerated in most cases, because Piccolo's defense is pretty underwhelming. And the thing with the Piccolo version is he does stack defense on his 12 key super attack, but it's just very, very difficult to get the 12 key super attack due to how his passive works and the extra key that he gets from his passive. So it's kind of like a first world problem, I guess, is you kind of want to try and get the 12 key super, but you can't. But yeah, I would say overall, they're still a really good character. Top 10 on my list. What's your top 10?
So yeah, first off, I agree, but we'll get to this in a second, because my number 10 is LR Janemba, and I recall that you don't have him on your list, which is fair. Yeah, a while back, I think he was the best Yellow Coin LR in the game. Obviously that changed, but that doesn't change that he's still good. So yeah, in my opinion, still very good and very fun to use. Of course, he's not on many categories, that's one of his weakness, but he's still performing very well when he's in play. Thanks to his mechanic that he can nullify, not dodge Ki Blast super attacks, he can come in very clutch against Broly in the red zone, and of course, for the sake of this video, he guards. That alone, with his LR stats combined, make him again, in my opinion, a very worthy inclusion on the list. And once he gets a very good partner like transforming Shenron, who is on transformation boost, he will be even better. Unfortunately, he doesn't build up his stat in slot 1, but man, in slot 2 he guards as well. He can hit very, very hard in later stages of an event, and in short events he will rock. He will just defend, and of course, a certain YouTuber that gave him 24 dodge or something. He doesn't do any damage then, I would say, but even with the defensive build, he's amazing, and again, thanks to his mechanic, he should be on the list at number 10 here, so yep.
Yeah, I am a fan of Janemba. He was one of the units I was considering sliding in at number 10 or something like that. I think the reason why I held him back a little bit is just because, number one, I don't believe he has access to a 200% lead right now.
Right, he doesn't.
And then number two is, again, like you said, he doesn't really have like that really dominant partner, which is interesting for him because he's a character that you can put in slot 1 and he'll be fine most of the time. But you want him to build up in slot 2. So typically in the first half of the fight, you're going to be putting him in slot 2, which means you want another character who's going to be able to, perform well and survive in slot 1. And we just don't have that yet. Because like you have STR Kid Buu, who's definitely very good. But I don't know if I'd be comfortable putting STR Kid Buu in front of like Red Zone Bojack in slot 1. That's a little scary, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, I think Janemba will age even better in the future. He will get a worthy partner, like, again, transforming Xin Shenron is only a matter of time, I would say.
Yep.
So, yep. Number 10 it is for now.
All right, so coming in at number 9 on my list is going to be LR Full Power Frieza. So this is interesting because I would have said this guy was the best, like, a year ago. I guess 11 months ago, I would have had him at number 1 on the list. It's not that he's gotten worse. It's just that the game has evolved so like rapidly in the past year with the red zone and 200% leader skills, and the fact that extreme class just isn't in a great spot right now, I would say. And you guys will see that as we go through the rest of our lists here. There's just not that many extreme units on here in general. But I would say that this Frieza still can put a lot of work in. He's still able to, perform fairly well in a lot of the red zone stages, even as you get higher up on the list. There can be a bunch of unfortunate situations where if you can't really super with him, he's not going to be able to stack, and then, it's going to snowball into a bad place for you. But I think the main reason why this guy has fallen off as much as he has, at least in my opinion, is because of the lack of partners that are able to keep up in the difficult content. Up until the red zone, you were pretty much able to just throw him next to third form Frieza, and the rotation would have been perfectly fine. There's not really much to worry about. Nothing in the game can really touch that rotation. Well, at this point, third form Frieza is still good, but again, you're not really putting third form Frieza in front of the red zone bosses and hoping that you live, because you're just dead at that point. So when it comes to his teams and where he wants to be ran, you can put him on the Ginyu team and he'll be under a 200% leader skill, but thanks to Ginyu's Ginyu-centric link set, he's not really going to work that well on the team, and thus it's just not really a great spot for him when he has no other partners really to work with. So that, in my opinion, is really why he's fallen down as much as he has. But even with that in mind, I still think he's incredibly powerful, and his active skill is really good. Again, most of the game is super class. Except for, of course, the red zone, which is why another reason he's fallen down, because you can't really use his active skill in the red zone. The red zone is only extreme class, which means that you can't really get his full passive either. So again, extreme class enemies or extreme class characters are really just, I think, at a slight disadvantage as compared to super class here. But yeah, number 9, Full Power Frieza. How about you?
First off, before I continue, I've written down some notes, and I have some objections regarding Full Power Frieza, and you told the audience all of them. So I don't know what to say about Full Power Frieza anymore. He's not on my list, actually. That's the first thing I wanted to touch here. He's not on my list because of the weaknesses that Goresh just listed. So yeah, he has a 200% lead, a 200% team, but yeah, he doesn't work that well with Ginyu's, especially in the first few rotations. When Ginyu's on rotation along with Full Power Frieza, well, both of them suffer. They can't pretty much super, except you get the medium chance for both of them for the additional super attack. Yeah, extreme class has a hard time in red zone. Doesn't really mean that they can't perform in there. Yeah, Full Power Frieza got a new partner, well, quote-unquote new partner, which is LRAGL, Golden Frieza, the new one from the Resurrection F movie, but he doesn't have big bad bosses, so that's one thing that's very annoying. So you have to build a team in a certain way, so the third slot unit has big bad bosses, and that could be kind of annoying. So yeah, I weigh these factors a little bit higher. So yeah, he didn't make the list for me, but for me he would be like in around 11, 12, 13. He's still very good, and as Goresh said, that was the first thing that I had on my notes. A half a year ago or a year ago, I would have said, yeah, he was the best unit in the game, but yeah, that has changed because the content has changed in Dokkan, and yeah. Okay, so with that said, I will move over to my number 9 here, and this is LR Goku and Piccolo. And yeah, I don't want to repeat everything that Goresh has said, like he's absolutely right. And during the first 5 turns, this unit is a god, thanks to the god. But yeah, once Piccolo is out, he cannot pretty much raise his defense because of his 18 key, but he does a ton of damage, Jesus. With LR Nappa, not LR Nappa, sorry, SCR Nappa, this unit has a good partner, key support, and yeah, the links like Tough as Nails come in handy. It's pretty good, but Nappa can suffer as well when your HP is low, especially in the red zone, so yeah, I couldn't put this unit any higher than 9. I totally get why Goresh put them at 10. Still very good unit though, yeah, I think that's enough for now.
All right, so moving on to number 8 on my list, I have the LRSTR Kaioken Goku, actually just released on Global like yesterday. So I really don't have much negative things to say about this unit. There's really not much, that I can really criticize him about. He is extremely powerful offensively. He's very strong defensively. I mean, I just did my 55% video full of 1 links with him. I had turns with him over 400k defense, hitting like 9 million attack stats with a 50% chance to crit. So I don't really know what else to say. At the rainbow level, he's going to be hitting easy like 12, 13, 14 million attack stats. I expect his defense to be hitting 600k on occasion, and that's just how good he is. The one thing I will say about Kaioken Goku that really holds him back a little bit is, number 1, I feel like he actually has too many key links. He has Over in a Flash, Shocking Speed, Saiyan Lineage, and Shattering the Limit. I feel like he does not need Over in a Flash, and he does not need Shattering the Limit. If they replace Shattering the Limit with Fierce Battle, and they replaced Over in a Flash with something like Experienced Fighters, you know how much damage this guy would do? This guy would do so much damage, you wouldn't even have to worry about taking any hits, essentially. Something else to note about him as well is that a lot of his offense does come from his entrance animation, which is obviously only exclusive to him fighting Vegetas, which are not super common, I would say, especially not in the red zone where it's only, movie bosses and GT characters for now. But, even without the entrance animation out, he's still able to hold his own, I think, in terms of his offensive potential. But really a character where you're able to slide him in anywhere and he should be able to perform well. He loses a little HP on his 18 key super. I think it's 4%, which is, I'll gladly trade that for like a 10 million attack stat with a 50% chance to crit any time of the day. But yeah, I struggle to find bad things to say about this unit. He's just very good all around and not really a unit that has a lot of weaknesses. So that's my number 8 unit.
Alright, so my number 8 unit here is, and man, I had a hard time with this guy, LRAGL UI Goku, the anniversary unit from last year, this year. At number 8, I have LRAGL UI Goku, and I had a hard time with this guy. I didn't know where to place him first. I didn't even know if I should put him at number 10, 9 or 8, maybe like even lower, so he wouldn't make the list at all. But yeah, he still has a 70% chance to dodge. He has access to a 200% leader skill, or well, team. Now thanks to the Resurrection F, TUR, Goku and Vegeta. So yeah, this LR performs quite well, and you can dodge still in a lot of events. Like the latest stages of Extreme Super Battle Road, the new Goku's Family stage, I think that came out last week, still hits incredibly hard, and he can dodge in there and Battlefield, for example, got way harder as well. So this guy still has a lot of value, even though he cannot dodge against Broly. He still rocks against Omega Shenron. So yeah, I had to give him credit for that. But I can't put him higher than number 8. For me, he doesn't dodge that often, unfortunately. But yeah, if he's on a 200% team and he dodges once, he gets an additional 50% defense. And I think he only takes double digits, except for its super attack, of course, from Omega. So that is pretty good. And yeah, first question here for me, Goresh. Why didn't you put him on your list?
Yeah, I definitely considered him. I think he's still definitely one of the better units in the game for sure. For me, when I'm thinking about the red zone, it's kind of just, I think if we didn't have the 3 attempts per day limitation, I might have had this guy on the list, as crazy as that sounds. Because it's like, am I really going to risk Goku just getting one shot because he decided not to dodge and then having to start over with one less try for the day because of that? Because the way that I see it is UI Goku, yeah, 70% chance to dodge is crazy. And I don't even like consider really the fact that he can't dodge against Broly. Like, okay, he can't participate in one fight. That's fine. Like, I'm okay with that. But if let's just pick a random fight, Janemba or Super 17. You're fighting Super 17. Okay, the red zone Super 17 stage. You decide to bring UI Goku. UI Goku dodges for the first 7 attacks. He dodges the first 7 out of 7 attacks. The 8th attack, he gets super attacked and he doesn't dodge. You lose. It's over. You lost. So the thing with him is it's like almost like a roulette wheel where it's like he can take 0 damage or he can take 800k. It's one or the other. There's really no in between with him. I think if you're on a 200% team with him and he does dodge once, he has enough defense to where he can tank normals, but if he gets supered, it's just over. Like he does not have the defensive potential to eat a super attack and, you know, oh, you didn't get lucky, you didn't dodge, okay, you're dead. Like, because of the 3 limitations per day per stage, me personally, I am not willing to take that roulette risk. So that's just my personal opinion.
I love that reasoning, actually. It makes sense for me. That works for me. But again, for me, he dodges a lot. And sometimes he doesn't at all. Against Super 17, he performed quite well. That's why I said he dodges a lot. So yeah, I still remember that. But yeah, there's one thing I left out on purpose so Goresh can fill that in, and he just said it. Like, there's no in between. Like, when he dodges, you take 0 damage, but once he takes a hit from a very hard-hitting enemy, you take like 200, 300, 400k sometimes. And that's very annoying, and of course it's the super attack right at the end, or in between, I don't know. But yeah, he's right, but I think we should include him on the list because he performs very well everywhere. Where you don't have any limitations. Well, of course, it sucks if you are in Battlefield on level 3 and you fail against a potential STR, Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. You have to do it all over again. Takes quite a lot of time, but yeah. Again, he's still good, but he shouldn't be higher than this. If you say to me that he's number 10, yeah, it's fine.
All right, I guess we're moving on to number 7. I will say, before I say who my number 7 character is, this is this is definitely the most controversial character on my list by far. And
do you want me to go first?
Yeah, well, you know, why don't you go first? You say yours first, and then I'll say mine. Go. You cover yours first.
Alright, so mine is LR Kaioken Goku, and Goresh has said a lot. But thankfully, this time he didn't say everything. Well, he covered all of his strengths, that's for sure. Like, everything he attacks just dies. He's very straightforward. Once you do his 18 key super attack, he has like a high chance to crit 50%, 10 million attacks, and of course, everything is dead. And of course, you build him with a lot of additionals, so more often than not, I get his 12 key super attack as a second super attack, and yeah, everything is just dead for sure. One of his weaknesses though, and I'm very annoyed by this, he doesn't have a good slot 1 partner. So yeah, before he supers, he can take quite a lot of damage, except for the turn where you do the active skill. I think when you do the active skill, he gets defense, so he can survive in slot 1, but otherwise he he just dies in slot 1. So I'm waiting for the day where a suitable slot 1 partner comes out, like a partner that equals version Z Goku in terms of links, because he shares a lot with version Z Goku. So Kaioken Goku in slot 2, version Z Goku in slot 3, excellent rotation. And yeah, in slot 1, I don't know, you can slide in Tech Gohan, I don't know, he guards, so he doesn't die from one hit. I know you love that guy, so yeah. I had to slide him here in that video. So yeah, Kaioken Goku is for me. And now let's talk about Goresh number 7 here. Yep.
All right, so before we even go into why I think this guy's number 7, I'm going to say who it is, and I want you guys to pause the video and go down to the comments and tell me if you think I'm right or wrong about this placement of this character. My number 7 character is Tech LR Super Gogeta. Yes, I have him above LR Goku and Piccolo. I have him above Full Power Frieza. I have him above Kaioken Goku. All those characters. I feel like this is a better unit than those characters right now. And the main reason why I think this character is this good is because of the way that the game has evolved the past year. If this was a year ago and this guy had just come out on JP, I would not have this guy in the same hemisphere of where he is right now. The red zone has changed the game so much that I feel like if you're able to use this character and have the scouter ability, this is the main reason why. I mean, I'm sure you guys could guess this. The scouter is just way too important. Having access to the scouter in an event like the red zone, like if you just know where the enemy's going to be super attacking, you know where to put your characters. And that is the entire game. That is the entire game. The reason why I have Gogeta on here and not Vegito, even though they both have access to the scouter, is because even though Gogeta's defense is certainly not at the level you would want it to be, he's still defensively good enough to be able to take normal hits from enemies and not get in like just utterly like obliterated, right? Whereas Vegito, sure, he has the scouter. He has even a better scouter than Gogeta because it lasts for a longer period of time. Vegito just simply cannot take normal attacks. And if you can't take normal attacks, then the scouter doesn't mean anything because you're going to get hit anyway, no matter where you are. But with Gogeta, typically the way that the game works right now is you're bringing in a very, very strong defensive option for pretty much any team that you're using, right? So the LR Gods, the LR Super Saiyan 4s, LR Gallic Gun Trunks and Vegeta, Merge Zamasu, AGL Golden Frieza, like all these really, really strong characters, Tech Ultimate Gohan who's guarding all the time. If you have those characters on your team, you're also going to have characters that aren't maybe going to be defending as good. We just talked about LR Kaioken Goku. He's good defensively. He's not eating a super from Red Zone Broly and surviving. Sorry. We talked about Goku and Piccolo. They're not eating a super attack from the hardest bosses in the game and surviving, unless maybe they will, but they'll take like 600k damage. So bottom line is you have these super, super strong units who basically have to eat super attacks. They have to, or you lose. Or else, I mean, of course you can use items, but in a no item situation, you have to have certain units take super attacks. And the easiest way to do that is by knowing where the supers are. And this guy does that. Now, the one thing I will say about this character is the downside to him definitely is the relative difficulty in getting the transformation. I think, is it the worst mechanic ever? No. Is it absolutely free? No. You have to have 70% or more HP starting from the 4th turn. But the good thing about this is if you're okay with using items, you can just pop an item and you're fine. You're going to heal yourself up to, above 70% in most cases if you use a Princess Snake, and you can then fuse into Gogeta. And from that point forward, you have the scouter. And in most cases, if you're running a comprehensive team, you should be okay. Unless you just get like mega unlucky and they're supering in slot 1, you should have nobody who can eat it, right? But the scouter, I think, is what makes this guy as good as it does. And the scouter is easily, I don't even think it's remotely close. The scouter is easily the strongest mechanic in the game in the red zone. It's what makes Ginyu as good as he is. One of the reasons that makes him as good as he is. If STR Vegito could take normal attacks and not instantly get incinerated by normal attacks, he would be on this list as well. That is how good the scouter is. STR Geese, like he's in a similar boat as well. I'm not even kidding. Like STR Geese is one of the best free-to-play units in the game because of that scouter. So that's my opinion on this unit. I want to hear what you think. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so Got a confession to make. When he sent me his list, my first reaction was like, holy Christ, what is going on? Why is he at number 7? And then I let it sink in and I was like, yeah, okay. So I thought back and yeah, thought about my first red zone attempts against Broly. And this guy was my savior because yeah, early on you are definitely above 70% HP, and yeah, against the second phase of Broly, he can nullify his super attack, thankfully, and yeah, that's what I did. Like, I transformed, I foresaw the super attack, and then I tanked it. And yeah, until the end, he did quite well. So yeah, I can see what you're saying about Gogeta being at number 7. The reason why I didn't include him on the list at all, so yeah, don't worry, I don't have him higher than 7 or anything, guys. Is that aside from his scouter, his performance is not good enough for me. Attack and defense wise, and his transformation conditions can be quite annoying. So yeah, he's definitely below 10, but he's definitely better than STR Super Vegito. STR Super Vegito just dies when you fart at him. So yeah, that's a shame. But yeah, again, the scouter ability is still crazy. I remember your physical Piccolo showcase from a couple years ago, where you praised that as well, and the rotation between physical Piccolo and I think it was Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Those two in one rotation. Like, you see a super attack and then put your defensive unit where the super attack is, and you're fine. That's why it is so good. So yeah, I can see it. You are not crazy, Goresh, and do not attack this guy. If you give me a valid reason, then the placement is fine. So, yeah, there we go.
All right, so moving on to number 6 on the list here, I have LR AGL Golden Frieza. I believe you also have LR AGL Golden Frieza at number 6. Is that true?
Yeah, let's stop with the games here. Like, moving on. I think everyone who has knowledge about Dokkan Battle and considers himself as a quote-unquote better player should have probably the exact list as us. So yeah, our list is pretty much the same until the end. So yes, I have LR AGL Golden Frieza at number 6 here.
All right, so I mean, there's not really much to say about this unit. He has what, 90% damage reduction when he activates his entrance animation, and then I guess he loses 10% damage reduction every turn after that happens, which is obviously, you know, it's unfortunate, but I mean, you take into consideration like any short event in the game, this guy is going to be literally invincible. Like, there's no super battle road stage that is probably ever going to exist that's going to hurt this character. Like, there's a reason why the old AGL Golden Frieza is still useful. People still use it. That unit is actually over 7 years old, I'm pretty sure, and people still use him. It's actually ridiculous. So this is going to be one of the most timeless characters ever in this game. The one negative about him is that he doesn't have a 200% leader skill. I think if this guy had a 200% leader skill, he for sure, at least for me, would jump up above the unit in the spot above him, who's number 5. He would definitely be above him because it's like his damage is really good as well. He is able to put up guaranteed additional super attacks whenever his HP is over 50%. The one thing that hurts him, I guess, is he doesn't have big bad bosses, but dude, if he had this Golden Frieza had big bad bosses, like it's over. Like, it's actually over. Because even if you think about this Golden Frieza, when his entrance animation buff wears off, I believe it caps out at 30% damage reduction.
Yes.
That's all right. Yeah. Okay. 30% damage reduction. He still has like 300k plus defense, even like, you know, at the point where that's fizzled out. So he's still able to tank hits pretty decently well with that amount of defense plus 30% damage reduction. Even in the red zone stages against like the harder bosses, he does not die in one hit to the red zone bosses, which is, you know, it's pretty good. It's pretty good in this day and age. So I just really like this Golden Frieza. And then this doesn't count towards why I have him on this list at this position, but I really like his aesthetics. The OST is really good. The entrance animation itself is very good. They knocked it out of the park with him. I think they did a really good job. So he's number 6. Let's hear your thoughts on him.
Okay, so about his entrance animation, so let's talk about this first. I think Akatsuki is aware that most players are going to skip this animation from now on. They're just like, okay, we don't care, let's make this entrance animation like 15 minutes long or something. I don't know, but I enjoyed as well. The opening OST is very, very good, so I'll try not to skip it as often, but of course when you're Link level characters, it's not as easy. Yeah, everything that Goresh said is true. I am not absolutely sure if he starts off with 80% damage reduction, because the first 10% that he loses should be at the first appearance. So maybe someone in the comment section can clear that up if he starts with 90% minus 10, or if he starts with 90%. That would be nice to know. What I would also include is the fact that once he does 5 super attacks in battle, he gets an additional 50% defense, I think. So that's a little bit compensation for the damage reduction he loses. So even against Broly in the red zone, he shouldn't take as much. I think 350k up to 400k from a super attack, which is fine, I think. Yeah, he's definitely at number 6, and once he gets a 200% leader skill, you can definitely make the case that he's better than number 5 here. I think it's just a matter of time until those movie boss characters, such as Janemba and Golden Frieza, will get a leader skill like that. The absence of big bad bosses, of course, hurts him, but yeah, he links very well with those Resurrection F Saiyans, such as the new TOR, Int, Goku and Vegeta I talked about earlier. And yeah, the new Easy Ace, the new Vegetas, for example, because Resurrection F, the link is quite good. It's a key link and it gives attack and defense. Super God Combat is, I think, an attack link that gives how much? Let me look it up. Yeah, 20%. It's quite a lot. So yeah, I like that Extreme Class character can link quite well with the Super Class character, maybe except yeah, those Goku Black characters. That's normal, but yeah. I'm rambling here. Golden Frieza, very good. Number 6 for a good reason. Let's move on.
All right, coming in at number 5 on both of our lists, we each have the LR Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Gohan. I guess you could call this a Dokkan original character. Number 1, before we jump into the kits, I just really like this character's design. I think that they took a risk for sure with this unit, right? I mean, this is not a character that's from anything. It's literally just Dokkan taking an illustration, and they're like, okay, how can we turn this illustration into a unit? And I think they did a really good job with it. I think they, honestly, I don't really have any complaints about how they could have made aesthetically this unit much better. But in terms of what this unit's able to do, they just they get crit per orb they get extra ki, they are able to guarantee double super when they have above a certain amount of ki. Their active skill is one of those like new age active skills where it does guaranteed crits for the rest of the turn. Like, their damage off the charts, they have ridiculous amounts of defense because of their super tech effects and their passive. Like, there's just this is a classic example of a dominant unit, and there's really no downside to this character except for the fact that their best partner, being the Exchange Goku and Gohan, also, much like them, not being a slot 1 unit. And I feel like that's the biggest criticism you can make against this character, is because they want to be next to the STR Goku and Gohan Exchange character. In theory, based off of their links, they should work well with each other. They should. Just, looking at their links, okay, they share, what's like 5 out of 7 or 6 out of 7 or something like that. They share a lot of links with each other. But in practice, when you put them in a rotation with the STR Goku and Gohan Exchange character, you're kind of like, okay, I really don't want to put either one in slot 1 because I'm just going to get incinerated, right? Both of these characters get tons and tons and tons of defense. Like, honestly, like the majority, like 70% plus of their defense from attacking, from super attacking. So I feel like in that situation, the Goku and Gohan, although they themselves are really strong, their best partner does not actually work as well as you would have liked with them because of that one reason. Now, if you're in a position where there's actually no attacks in slot 1, you're good to go. Like, you're just insane. Like, this unit almost cannot be touched. But until you get that Gohan actually exchanged out, and at that point it's GG because they actually can't do anything to you at all. You just win the game. Until that point happens, it's a little bit dicey because if you get super right away, you're just probably dead. But yeah, this unit pretty much has it all. It's classic Super Saiyan Link set. Great passive, great super tech effects, guaranteed crits with the active skill. Like, they're just really good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one thing, this unit marks the worst shaft of my life. I invested, I think, 4,000 stones and didn't get a single copy of them. So unfortunately, I was unable to check them out because their leader skill is just, I think, Kamehameha and Goku's family 150. And yeah, them as a friendly, well, you cannot evaluate them very much. So I just watched a lot of showcases, and I like them because they are very well designed for a 55% unit. I know we are talking about rainbow units here, but they have a mechanic where they can crit all the time if you get enough keys here. So that is very, very good. So I definitely know where my first 500 coins will go once they're available. They should be around at the end of the year, I think. And yeah, I had the STR Goku argument loaded up already. I still remember your tweet where you vocalized that you are very, very annoyed about STR Goku and Gohan.
Yeah,
because of that, and I totally agree. But yeah, that doesn't change the fact that this unit is very, very, very powerful, and I love the direction Akatsuki went in, like creating a very, very powerful unit that didn't exist in the source material. So yeah, I hope Akatsuki will continue doing this, and I think with that said, we can move on to our next unit.
All right, so moving on to number 4 on the list. Again, we both have the same character on there at number 4. We have LR Int Fusion Zamasu, the newest character added to JP Dokkan. So if you guys thought the Gohan and Goku was good, this is just a better version of Gohan and Goku. Like, actually.
Yeah.
He basically does everything that they do, but just a little bit better, right? I mean, is there a better way of explaining this? He's the villain version of Goku and Gohan that we just talked about. Instead of getting extra crit, he just gets super effective against all types at 24 key. He actually orb changes for himself, which I think for me is probably the major thing that puts him that step above Gohan and Goku. I think. He does a guaranteed additional super once he performs his 18 key super attack. The one additional thing that he's doing as well is in a stage like Super Battle Road or like the first stage of a lot of red zone fights where the enemy's susceptible to being debuffed, he does actually like lower attack a lot. I believe he greatly lowers attack on 18 key, and then I think his 12 key lowers attack normally. So if you get the guaranteed additional super, which of course you're going to get it because it's guaranteed, he's going to greatly lower attack and then lower attack, and then you have another chance to lower attack if you get the hidden potential additional. So if you do that and you lower attack 4 times, the enemy's not going to be able to do damage to anyone on the rotation pretty much unless they super. So this Fusion Zamasu, again, very, very well executed entrance animation, pretty much just a dominating unit. The only downside, again, I would say about him is the fact that his active skill effect is a little bit weak. I believe he has to perform 5 super attacks to be able to launch his active skill. Which, even though he does get an additional super attack when you get the 18 key, it still could take a bunch of time because keep in mind, this guy is so strong. You're, in a lot of instances, killing the enemy before he's able to get the additional supers off, which obviously then hampers you later on when you're not able to get the active skill. So that's like really the only downside I can really see about this unit. He's healing, he's stacking his damage reduction every time he gets hit. So yeah, this guy's doing a lot. He has, I think, the longest passive in the game. I remember seeing that and I was like, what the hell is this? But yeah, very, very insane character. What are your thoughts?
All right. So unfortunately, similar situation here. 2,500 stones, no copies. Yeah, but I was like, okay, screw it. I'll go on the private server and test this guy out then, because I cannot be on a video like this and be like, yeah, I didn't get the unit. So yes, this unit is actually crazy, and I think this guy is so high on the list thanks to the EZA from Zamasu and Goku Black, the tech one, the OGs, and yeah, this rotation is just insane. Goresh talked about the entrance animation. When you triggered that, this unit gets Ki +1 for 5 turns. And yeah, of course, the Tech Goku Black and Zamasu is part of the Potara category. So yeah, you will get the 24 Ki easily, especially with his Ki Sphere changing mechanic. So yeah, this guy does a lot of damage. He's super effective against all types when Ki is 24. He greatly raises defense on his 18 Ki. He greatly raises defense on his 12 Ki. And when you build up his damage reduction a little bit, he takes 350k from Broly's super attack in the red zone, which is actually insane. This is so good. Yeah, this unit is great. I already reserved 1000 coins for this guy. I cannot wait to use him on my account. And of course, yeah, the active skill condition isn't very good, even though he doesn't guarantee super attack. Maybe you get the third one from the hint potential system, so you can trigger that a little bit quicker. But you know, every active skill condition like this always is a little bit disappointing. And yeah, but he has access to a 200% leader skill from Trunks, thanks to the Battle of Fate portion. And yeah, again, his best partner right now, LR Goku Black and Zamasu, the tech one, is a slot 1 unit. This guy is a slot 2 unit. Absolutely incredible. Thanks to that, he is at number 4 for sure. You cannot discuss this away.
All right, so we are going to move on to number 3 and 2 at the same time, because as you guys could imagine, they're both shared by the 7th year anniversary LRs. We have Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, and we have Super Saiyan God Goku and Vegeta. So I believe the way that this was handled as Sunblade, you actually have them at the same spot. They're just sort of taking up both the second and third slots together, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right, and yeah, I would not argue against that at all. The way that I personally have it right now is I have the God Goku and Vegeta at 3, whereas I have the Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta at 2. It's like you're splitting hairs at this point. Like, it's just so like it is not a significant difference whatsoever. You could argue one way or the other. It's fine. I think it all comes down to how you want to evaluate what makes a unit better than a different unit right now. And the way that I looked at this was, I think looking at like the actual like overall effectiveness of the units is what you want to be looking at. Like, for example, we say like Captain Ginyu, Dokkan Fest Captain Ginyu, right? He is not going to be effective on like pretty much any team but his own team. You have to specifically build it around the Ginyu Force. You want to use Unit A, Unit B, and Unit C. That's his team. Other than that, he's not really going to perform well. But on that team, he's going to be crazy, crazy good. Definitely not as extreme of a situation as that with these characters, because you can definitely run Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta on a wide variety of teams and they'll be fine. But the one thing that I think you can say the difference between these characters is that I think the Super Saiyan 4s are going to perform way better on a team that's focused more so on like GT and Saiyan Roar. Those are the big links they want to have. The Super Saiyan God Goku and Vegeta have Prepare for Battle. They're going to be way better on, I think, a wide variety of teams, but specifically looking at like the best situations for both characters, I think I like the Super Saiyan 4s a bit better. And that's why I sort of shoved the Super Saiyan 4s like a millimeter, literally a millimeter above the gods. But it is so close. These guys are able to do so much. The guarding for the first turn makes them, pretty much, for the first turn of each fight, there's not really much that's going to hurt them. They're going to be able to stack up a little bit before they return on the next rotation. The blue form and the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta forms are pretty much just unparalleled at this point. I don't really know what else. Like, you guys know. I don't have to sit here and lecture you on how good these units are. You guys know this by now. I don't know. You want to add anything? Because I don't really think we need to explain this here anymore.
Yeah, so yeah, let me go right ahead. So in my first version of the list, I had the gods above the Super Saiyan 4s, and Goresh already touched upon this. You can use them in a variety of teams. Their leader skill is, in my opinion, a lot better than the one from the Super Saiyan 4s, and they have Prepared for Battle. That's something the Super Saiyan 4s do not have, and that annoys me so much when I use them outside of their best setup. So yeah, that's one thing. But the Super Saiyan 4s just got a new 200% team with the LR Trunks and Vegeta, the Galactic one. You might wonder where they are on this list, haha. Yeah, so I decided to put them in the same spot. But I get what Goresh is saying, and yeah, this reason is valid for me. But yeah, again, I have them at the same spots pretty much. So that's it.
All right, and then coming in at number 1 on both of our lists. I know this is going to be a bit of a shock to most players, but it's actually Gallic Gun, Trunks, and Vegeta. I know. It's a shock to a lot of people. No one expected this. This is like, this is like the Miracle on Ice situation. But yeah, it's just like the best team in the game. The leader skill is the best leader skill in the game. They're guarding in slot 1 forever. Like their damage maybe is the only thing you could really criticize, I guess, with them, because they're definitely not doing as much damage as I think like the first top 5 characters. Like they're not out damaging the 7th tier LRs. They're not out damaging LR Zamasu. They're not out damaging Gohan and Goku. Like they're not out damaging Kaioken Goku. They're definitely not out damaging full power freeze. Like their damage is not what makes them as good as they are. It's the utility, it's the active skill, it's the leader skill, it's all the intangible things and the defense. And I think when you look at all those things as a package, they're pretty much immortal. They cannot be touched by anything. You could take them into the hardest red zone stages in the game, Broly, the de facto hardest fight in the game, red zone Broly. They will dominate red zone Broly. Even if I want to say that even if you don't have them in slot 1 and you don't have them guarding, by the time their guard wears off, I feel like they're going to be fine, even without their guard, if you don't want to put them in slot 1. That's how good this unit is, because you then have the chance and the option to just put them in slot 1 and boom, they're guarding with 600,000 defense. Is that good? You let me know. I'll send it over to you, because I don't really have much else to say about this unit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to clarify one thing, and that's something we always discussed. I think it hit the highest point when Physical Bergamo got his Dokkan Awakening, and when this guy got his Dokkan Awakening, he had so much defense. And one statement that was always said was, defense keeps you alive, offense does not. Like, the enemies in this game have so much damage reduction nowadays that you cannot kill them in like 1 or 2 hits. So you have to stay alive in the long run. And I'm not the kind of guy who no items stages. First off, I don't have time for this. And second, there's no reason for me to do that. But I think 1 week after the unit came out, I just did a casual run on the red zone against Broly. And thanks to them, I no item this stage easily, like first try. You cannot kill them. Of course, you have one of them in each rotation. Yeah, they stack attack and defense, so their offense will be fine later on. They do a second super attack too. I cannot criticize this unit. This unit is by far the best unit in the game, and yeah, I'm tired of people saying, yeah, they're not. So to feed the meme a little bit. So yeah.
To me, it kind of feels like their stance before they designed this unit, they're like, maybe we made the red zone a little bit too hard.
Right.
Maybe we should do something about this. And then this is what their solution was to that. Like, that's honestly what it feels like when they announced this unit. Because I remember doing the translations for this character, and I remember going through it. I'm like, okay, yeah, they sound pretty good. And then I get to the end where it's like guards all attacks in slot 1, and I'm like, oh, okay. They didn't even need that. Like, they could have been fine without that, but they just have that for no reason. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, one thing that I want to add, and you tweeted this right after you did your translations. I love how this unit is the best one in the game, but in the anime, this attack did nothing against Zamasu, and then Goku comes in with this Kamehameha and blasts him away. Like, wow, okay.
Yeah, if you guys rewatch this part of the show, Trunks and Vegeta do the Father Son Gallican, and then the smoke like dissipates, and Zamasu was just standing there taking 0 damage.
Yeah.
And this unit is like the best unit now. But I think at this point we're gonna have both of our lists on the screen at the same time. I think for the most part it's pretty consensual. We have the top 6 all the same. I guess you can make a bit of a discrepancy for the Super Saiyan 4s and Super Saiyan Gods. I had Super Saiyan 4s at 2, Gods at 3, but again, they're pretty interchangeable anyway. I had LR Tech Gogeta at number 7. You had LR Tech Kaioken Go. Sorry, not Tech. You had LR STR Kaioken Goku at number 7.
Right. Yes.
I had LR Kaioken Goku at number 8. You had LR AGL UI Goku at number 8. I had LR Full Power Freeze at number 9. You had LR Goku and Piccolo at number 9. I had LR Goku and Piccolo at number 10. And you had LR Janemba at number 10. I want you guys to go down to the comments now down below and let us know how you feel about our lists. Were we close? Were we way off? Are we stupid? You let us know. What are your thoughts here? Anything else you want to say before we get out of here? It's been a long one. It's been a long one.
No, I had a great time. I'm looking forward to the next one.
All right, guys, with that said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to go down and hit that bell as well as subscribe, and we'll see you guys all in the next one.
Bye, guys.